everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all doing well. Today we are here for February favorites time, and I have a couple unfavorites as well for this month. If you want to see these products, then keep on watching. Okay, so the first item is, I guess, a skincare product. This is a lip treatment. It's a sleeping mask for your lips. I tend to get very dry, cracked lips, particularly in the winter time. And I had an allergic reaction several times to the Bite Beauty Agave lip mask, which I loved for so long, but I don't know, all of a sudden I think I'm allergic to lanolin, which is in there. So I have to avoid that product, which is such a bummer because I loved it for so long. So I needed something that's going to be very hydrating, something I can wear, you know, you can use every day, but something particularly when I go to bed to really sink into the lips and hydrate. And I picked up this one from Laneige. I think that's how you say it. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it right. This is a Korean brand, and now it's being sold at your local Target locations. They do have a little bit more within the line online, but in my store they have mostly just like cleansers, moisturizers. I think there's an eye treatment. This I picked up on Amazon because they don't actually have this at my Target. So it depends on your location. You might be able to find it, but you can always get on Amazon like you can with pretty much everything. So I did pick this up, and I don't know how many ounces it is just because everything's in Korean on the box. The only thing that's in English is benefit, main features. Oh no, I'm sorry, there are 20 grams. It's in this tiny little font. So you get 20 grams, and I thought, wow, that's actually a lot. I was worried it was going to be a little pot, but here is, let me take off the little seal. You get a lot. I've had this since the beginning of February, or maybe the end of January, I can't even remember, and I barely made a dent into it. So the other cool thing that I don't know, it's because it's adorable, but it comes with this little tiny satchel, and inside it has a little silicone, like little rubber applicator. So you don't actually have to dig your finger in. You can just scoop it out, put it on your lips. You know, I've cleaned this with alcohol or just some dish soap under water, that kind of thing. But I think that's such a cute little addition. The product's awesome. I find my lips have been super hydrated from it. I don't think it's done miracles. I still find that if I'm using a lot of matte products, I'm getting chapped, but it feels nice and slippy on the lips and silky, but not greasy, or, you know, it's not like a Vaseline kind of petroleum jelly kind of feeling on your lips. It's a very smooth, and it has a little tackiness, so it lasts a long time on your lips. I use this throughout the day. I don't actually necessarily just use this at night, but I always make sure I go to bed with this on. But I've used it before I've put on my makeup. That way it sinks in before I put on any lip product. But I think you should check this out. Okay, the next thing is a newer product at the drugstore, and this is from L'Oreal. It's part of the Infallible line. They came out with a whole bunch of stuff. I did mention in my January favorites that I loved the sponge. I wasn't a big fan of the Total Cover foundation. It just wasn't for me, but I wanted to try this because I have a lot of redness in my skin and other areas that you can definitely use color correctors for before you put on your foundation. And they did come out with the same exact thing with just concealers, but I didn't have the need for that. And this one actually does have a peach kind of concealer, and it matches my skin tone fairly well. I can use it on blemishes. Here you go. You have a few colors in here. You got purple to brighten, green to color redness, yellow to, you know, maybe use under the eyes. That helps brighten as well. And then you have more of a skin tone color. Obviously, this is not going to be for everybody. Either way, the ones I've been using the most has been the concealer. I use it on blemishes. It's a pretty good skin tone match for me. And I have mixed some of the yellow in if I want to go a little bit lighter, you know, maybe under the eyes. And the green one is the one I've used probably the most. I've actually already featured it in a tutorial, I believe. And it is so good for redness. And I was worried because sometimes these, you know, little kits, I guess you'd call them, the consistency is a little too greasy and maybe doesn't have a lot of pigmentation and you're just putting 12 pounds of it on just to cover some of your redness. But I'll do some swatches. I think it's weird to do swatches of a color corrector, but this has some serious pigmentation and I'm not digging in. I'm just doing one little swirl and you do have a good color there. Let's just do the back of my hand so you can see. They're quite pigmented and they blend beautifully. Melts into the skin. It doesn't feel like you're putting on this heavy, cakey, thick layer right before you use your foundation. It goes very well with foundations and I've used it with a bunch of different kinds. It does come with this stupid little applicator. It's this flat little sponge. I've tried to use it. Just throw it away. There's no point. Use your finger, pat it in, use the warmth of your finger to kind of blend it. And on the back too, it does give the little like face directions here where you could use this product. Actually, I never noticed, but they did say for the yellow one you can use on the lids for a primer, and that's actually a perfect idea because I love my paint pot, but I could totally use this, especially if you're going with, you know, eyeshadows on top. That would be fine. But yeah, I like this actually. I think if you need some color correctors and you're looking for something a little bit thicker and that doesn't come in like a pen form or a crayon form, this consistency is nice and it would work with multiple skin types and you won't have to worry about it clinging to dry patches. I've been enjoying it, so I'm actually very happy I picked it up. Next thing, I do want to just give another mention because I have used this up. I mentioned it in my last month's favorite, but it deserves another mention because it's so good. It's the Milani Make It Last Setting Spray. I've used I have a little bit at the bottom, but it won't actually pump through. This is so good. It's drugstore. The ounces are only 2.03 fluid ounce. So you could probably just with a few extra bucks pick up the Urban Decay one. I mean, it is a little bit more expensive, but you do get more ounces on it. But you can get Milani at the drugstore, so you can always use a coupon. They're always running sales. So keep an eye on that, and this would definitely be way more affordable with a sale. I need to get another one. I actually have a Wet n Wild one that I'm using right now, but the nozzle on this is perfect. I don't want to yammer on about it, but it's so good. If you haven't tried this, do it. Okay, next up are some mascaras, and if you watched my most recent beauty battle and the first beauty battle that I did on my channel, I had two mascaras battling it out, and one of which was from Maybelline and the other was from IT Cosmetics. We have the Colossal Big Shot and the Superhero here, and ultimately I did love them both, so they made it into my favorites because I've used them equally. Actually, today I do have the IT Cosmetics one on, but I think for my lashes particularly, they did roughly the same effect. They did the same thing. They suited my needs, except the Superhero was just a little bit more richer and black. But ultimately, with the same amount of coats or a little bit more coats of the Maybelline one, I got the same effect. Only thing I have to say about the Superhero, now that I've had this one, it's starting to dry out a little bit. And I know it's a sample, but I haven't had it that long, and I don't think it should dry out that fast. I do use it a lot, but I think that this is a type of formula that will dry out fast, and it just doesn't give me as much oomph to my lashes that it did when I first got it. So I'm a little concerned about that if I were to get the full size. Something to keep in mind. Let me know in the comments below if you use this mascara and you find that it dries out fast. I'd like to know if it was just me. Lately, I have been doing my brows a little bit differently. I mean, pretty much the same thing, but I've been on this kick where I can't stop using the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade and Blonde, and I find that they come out a lot lighter than I used to. I mean, I love my brows a little bit darker. I think it depends on my hair color. Honestly, lately I've been enjoying a little bit lighter brown, a lot more feathery than I've done before, and just kind of keeping them looking a little bit more natural. And I love this pomade. This is so good. I know it's, you know, a pricey one, but I've had this for at least 2 years. I love this color. I think it's perfect for me right now, and I'm embracing it. I love it with the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Plumper. This is another favorite that I've had for years since it actually was released, and this is a newer tube for me because I got it on sale, and I actually had picked up the light to medium. I usually get the medium brown or medium one, whatever that one is that I always repurchase, but I thought let's do the lighter version and I like it. So these two have been my go-to, and I have it on right now. This is what I'm wearing on my brows, and I have pretty much almost every single day. Next we have, let's do this blush. I mentioned this in my some new at the drugstore products, and I did reviews on it as well. And this one I've just been grabbing. I don't even think I do my makeup and I just grab it because it's so light and neutral. It's the Physicians Formula Butter Blush. I think in my video I said butter bronzer because that's all you hear is the butter bronzer, but this is the butter blush, and this is in the shade Plum Rose. This one is more of like a satin finish, and I wanted this color in this tone because it's nude. It's just got a very soft coloring to it, but again, if you're anywhere darker than I am, it's not going to work. And actually, I just built up that swatch. That is not even how pigmented it is, but it's a beautiful tone where it doesn't matter what you're using on your face for color. This will always go with every look, and that's why I think I've just been grabbing at it. It's such a soft, butter-like formula. Next, I have a lipstick, and this is the new Maybelline Matte. There was a name for these, but they're just the nudes that they released, a whole line of different nudes for different skin tones. I have the shade 545 Beige Babe, and this is such a perfect nude for my skin tone. And it's so hard to find one that's not going to be too pink, too peach, too nude, you know, too pale on the lips that make you look like you have dead lips. So here is this shade. I think it's perfect. It has a bit of peachiness. It has a bit of pink, but it's kind of an even combination of both, and I love it. Of course, the Maybelline matte formula, I feel that is one of the best. They're so comfortable on the lips. You don't feel like you have something very drying on there, and yeah, I love this one. Definitely check this out. And the last thing is a blush, and I got this blush as part of my Sephora little birthday gift. It came with a, what was it, a Tarte lip paint, and this is the Tarte Amazonian Clay 12-hour blush in Party. And I'm not just saying that because I'm being annoying. It's actually spelled P-A-A-A-R-T-Y, and it's a little tiny blush. I think this packaging is adorable. And honestly, even these little sample sizes, the little tiny minis, they last so long. So I think it's just such a great value, and it was a free little gift. But here is the tone. It actually matches. It's kind of like the blush to this lipstick. Clearly, I like these tones. Now, the blush is a little bit more pinky. I was just gonna say, you have a little bit of a problem. So here you go. This blush is obviously a lot more pink, but it's the same kind of tone as far as pinky, peachy evenness. I think it's so pretty, and it has kind of like this, not iridescence to it, but it's more of a satin finish, so it's not super flat. It's just such a flattering tone, and similar to the effect that the butter blush gives, it's so nice on the cheeks for just a little bit of color. It's not going to interfere too much with a lot of other things that you're putting on your face, whether it's eyeshadow or lipstick. I just think it's a gorgeous formula. Always been a fan of the Tarte blushes. They are probably my top blush pick. And onto the two unfavorites I have, and these are actually samples. One came in my Sephora Play box, and the other was a sample with a purchase of a product at Ulta. So let's go on to the It Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye. This is got some serious following. A lot of people love it. It's very pigmented. I 100% agree with the full coverageness of this product, but for whatever reason, maybe my under eyes are just too dry. If I use the tiniest little bit, or the heaviest amount. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't look good under my eyes. And I keep trying it with beauty blenders that are dampened, so it helps with the moisture. I've used it under eye creams. I've done it all different ways, just using my finger to keep it warmed up, you know, just really pat it and let it sink in the skin. And it's just not that great for me. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't. I think that the Tarte Shape Tape is better and it's creamier. And I know this says it has anti-aging properties in it, but and the last one, I don't even know if there's any other person in the world that could possibly love this product because it is so horrible. I had the worst reaction with it. If you saw my Sephora unboxing, you know what I'm going to talk about. It's the Too Faced Lip Injections Glossy version in Milkshake. It's dreadful. I had the worst reaction to this, and a lot of people were commenting on that video I posted, and they had the same reaction. So it's not me. I know this is definitely just whatever product or ingredient rather, they put in here, and it burned my lips. It felt like it burned the flesh off my face. It was horrible. I don't recommend checking this out. I am all about plumping up the lips and, you know, filling in some of those fine lines with just a little plumping action. But this practically burned my lips off. So I'm not quite sure how that's going to help my lips become fuller when they look raw. And that is it for the favorites and my couple unfavorites for the month of February. And as always, comment below and let me know what you've been loving for the month of February. A couple of products that you haven't stopped using. I love hearing from you. And don't forget to give the video a big thumbs up because I greatly appreciate that. If you're new to my channel and have not subscribed, you know where that button lives. And also don't forget to hit that little notification bell. That will let you know when I've uploaded a video so you can always stay up to date with my channel. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.